Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. How is everybody? Yes, I'm a little bit early today. I've been kind of milling about here with not much to do or not much that I really want to start. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to get cooking today. And if I start early, maybe I end a little bit early and get moving because tomorrow I have to be at the airport at like uh, I can't even do the math. 4, a little after 4 o'clock. Uh, I mean, my airport is very small. Um, a very small airport, so um, I can't imagine there's going to be a ton of people at the airport at 4:30. So my plane leaves at 5:25, and I think if I get there at 4:30, it will be good enough. Um, but 4:30 means it's a half hour drive to get to the airport. Leave at 4 means I got to get up at eat gads, man. 3 o'clock. Oh man, if you see me in Baltimore tomorrow, just be very gentle. Now that I did that math, I'm a little scared. Um, 3 a.m. is not where I want to be. I don't. Wow. Okay. Well, I always say there's only a couple things I get up early for, and one of those is a pen show. Um, so looking forward to that. Hello, who we got over here on YouTube? We got Russell, we got Gary, Colin, Gabriel. Hello, hello. Um, so it's gonna be, but I'm looking forward to it. I've got all my lists. I'm like I'm at that point where it's just a clock. Ignore it. Okay. I mean, if I play my cards right, my cat will wake me up at 3 o'clock anyway. So I'll drink a gallon of water before I got to go to bed, and then I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom at 3 in the morning. But um, I've had a list for this show for over a month, so I don't forget anything. And I think it's because I'm spending money on um, getting there that I want to make sure everything is completely, everything is cool. And so the problem is now is that I've had this list that I'm afraid there's something that's not made the list. But if it hasn't made the list after a month of being on it, and Lisa's sending me text, make sure you've got this, and this. Like I've already got all that. Of course, I almost forgot all my power bars and my granola bars and things like that I eat for lunch. Um, but because she's like, there's no way we're not going to go stop by the shop because it's literally 20 minutes the wrong direction from the airport. So, um, but anyway, looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it just finally being here because I got other stuff to do, and if I don't spend this money, I got other things I want to spend this money on. So I'm sure I'll have no problem spending the money. Yeah, and then this weekend, yeah, it's daylight savings time, and my flight out on Sunday morning is actually earlier than my flight is out tomorrow. So if I play my cards right, I just don't go to bed Saturday night. But anyway. All right, what do we got cooking today? Stay sprung forward. So what is it? It's spring forward, fall back. So the clocks move forward. So 5 o'clock is now 6. So when you get off of work, it's lighter. Is that right? But it's darker in the morning. So 7 is 7 is now 8. So the old 7 is 6. I'm thankful that all this modern technology already does it for us. So let's take a look at what's on the bench. This is kind of exciting, as I've always discovered. You let this stuff sit, and overnight it just gets nicer. I mean, look how beautiful that is. I can't wait to see the look on this gentleman's face when he sees how beautiful that looks. And this is night and day better than what it used to be. So you knew a guy that I was used to use a time change to be late to work the next day, even if he gained an hour. Yeah, the dark nights in winter are really not great. Although Lisa had a genius idea, and she got these little I want to say they're I don't know if they're cell battery or they're AA or AAA battery, but she got these motion sensitive lights that she put over our door locks, like on the garage and on the house, so that when we get home at night, you can find your stinking key. Because that was always a problem. And it works really great. All right, well, we're going to sack up this Waterman. Oh, we already cut this, didn't we? Cut that at the end of yesterday. We reset the nib and feed. When I go home, I have my hour back. Yeah, right? Because I lose an hour. I won't know what to think of that. Let's reassemble. Let's reassemble this first. Yeah, I hope after the time change we don't miss anybody. Miss any of you guys overseas. What is that? This is Lindsay's passport. Oh, okay, great. Friday. Great. Don't plan on it. Ain't that the truth? You never do plan on breaking it. Juicy, good evening. How are you? All right, so let's hope this goes back in. It's actually a little too wide to fit in there. You got carried away watching AI cats doing heavy rock. Well, I mean, if you're going to get carried away, that's... So this is kind of problematic. Because it's unusually large at the end. So it's wider than the opening. So I might have to heat this up a little bit and then press it back into place once I get it in there. I hate doing that, but I don't see any other way out of this. Well, let's try this. Let's try going in through the front. All right, this might be how we're going to do it. Keep your fingers crossed, people. Ah, there we go. So it's slotted into place. You hear that big click. Much nicer here. Much a little bit, still a little bit there. We probably could fix it if we wanted to, but I think I'm just going to leave it. All right, and this isn't very. This is quite flexible, so I'm not too worried about this. It's just such an unusual J-bar. I can't believe it's not the original. There we go. Goes up at perpendicular. Snaps into place. It's a very, very nice bar. All right, very good. I'm very, very pleased. I'm going to be so excited to have this one done. I don't normally take levers out, but this one seemed like it was okay to do. Yeah, the modern day Estiwick's not really a button filler. So even a 16 is actually a little tight going in there. You're waiting on a few pens. One is a dead set with a Spencerian. Believe it or not, I just negotiated a group of pens from England literally 5 minutes before the stream today. There we go. And in that is a very special pen that I have waited for a long time to find. And I won't tell you what it is until I get it, because it is in need of serious, serious restoration work. No, not a simple. Hey, Pen Addict rating. Why do I not have volume on here? How's everybody doing? Spicy. Do I have volume? From Corolla. Hello, how you doing? You're glad my strong back can carry us. Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Hello, hello. Moosey Cat, Indy, print me. Hey there. Match makes things, you betcha. Hello. Olive, Fountain Pen News. Hello. Starbucks, bring it. Right here. Oh, it's not Starbucks, but Jason, hello, how you doing? Sandy B. I'm having a good day so far today. Moosey Cat, thanks for the follow. I'm the star of the show. Well, you know, I'm not quite at vacation mode yet. Hey, Vlad. Mainlander, thanks for the follow. I'm not quite in vacation mode yet, but I am almost there. This is a Waterman 452 in the pansy panel pattern, which is my favorite pattern. Really very nice. Blackened the ends here and both sides here. This was really quite bad. Flying Blue TARDIS, thanks for the follow. Thank you. It was like a tan. It was really, really bad. So we got that fixed. Vacation mode. Well, it's the Baltimore Pen Show starting tomorrow. So and this guy here was a really sad state. If you really want to see a transformation, this is a fairly scarce pen, actually. You'll see me in the hotel. All right, sounds good. I'm going to bring this one to, I'm assuming we're going to finish it today. I'm going to bring it to the show tomorrow. It is made by the Edison Pen Company of Petersburg, Virginia in the 1920s. It's a super cool pen. Super cool pen. It was, I won't say a disaster, but it was multi-colors of discolored rubber. The end of the barrel was really squished from heat and time from the bar pressing on it. And there was a gap here in the lever area. And so we actually took the lever out, the bar out, and heated this enough. And actually, I literally just squished this back together, and it really, really turned out amazing. And blackened it. Normally, I don't blacken my own personal pens, but if they're really, really ugly, I do. This one actually had remnants of original sticker band on it, but it was like heavily discolored on one side and even worse on the other, and it was just a disaster. And I think it deserved better. So it's soaked. So if you watch yesterday's stream, you'll get to see the transformation. And as always with this Dr. G's, it always darkens overnight. And I didn't even look at it all day. I was busy this morning doing things. It was 1920s. It is not associated with the current Edison Pen Company. This is the original Edison out of Petersburg, Virginia. The owner, ironically enough, later became the founder and owner of Arnold Pen Company, which is maybe one of the crappiest pens ever made. But before that, he made these pens, and they're quite lovely, but they're incredibly scarce. They're incredibly scarce. But it's black chased hard rubber, and it was heavily, heavily discolored. But you can watch that yesterday's stream. Will be on YouTube and still on Twitch if you want to see the blackening process. Yeah, so these hard rubber pens. Let me put this on. I'll give you an example here. Hard rubber pens are black. Now, well, actually, they can come in several different forms. They're typically black or mottled, red and black. They can also be just plain red, although red is more brittle than black, so that's where mottled came in. And there are rare exceptions where there's green and other colors, but it's usually typically black or mottled. And mottled can be different things. Waterman had their own ripple pattern, which is red and black. There's a wood grain pattern. Let me see if I can find give me just a second. So this pen, when it came in, kind of looked like this. And I actually happen to, this is a pretty cool pen. I don't know what this is. This is a matchstick filler. But you can see there was a clip or something. I don't, why would there be a clip on this side? But that looks like evidence of what there's a clip. So this was the original color, and then it discolors, and you can see here where the cap was, it protected the barrel from ultraviolet UV radiation, which then breaks down the rubber. And then if it gets wet, or if even moisture from your skin, like I have some pens that are heavily damaged that I bought at auction, and then when I picked them up, moisture from my skin, because it was in an unair conditioned room, left a fingerprint on the pen. Do I have a good example of the difference between wood grain and ripple? Good question. I don't, off the top of my head, probably not. And believe it or not, this one here is also hard rubber. And you can see how this didn't really discolor, but the rest of it did. And quite evenly, as a matter of fact, although it's a little bit darker here on this side. But these are all supposed to be the same color. I have a notion to just dip this cap and clean the cap up so you can kind of see the difference. Yeah, well, yeah, that pen is the pen that has my fingerprint on it now. It's a really stupid rare pen. Here's another example. So these are all were originally black like this. See if I've got an original. That's a pretty good original color too. It's heavily chased though, so it's. Yeah, modeling can take all sorts of different forms. Like, well, I just happen to have two. Ripple is a Waterman, a Waterman pattern. So they're all red and black. This is what I would consider to be modeled. And it's somewhat swirly, somewhat random. This one here is a French pen, and you can usually tell a French pen because it usually has these little, curly cues and round sections, and it's quite irregular and quite different. Whereas, the black in this is not as pronounced. Ripple is a very, it looks like waves. It's big little marks. Let's see if I got one. I don't think I do. At least not in front of me. So maybe I do. Hang on. Oh, I do. Holy cow. So this is a Waterman Ripple. And you know it's a ripple because it always says ripple on it, but you can see the ripples like waves. It's very uniform. You can see it even better on the. This is a beautiful section. All this black on here. That's very nice. really pronounced red. It's very different. That section is that's a $1 million section right there. Now this is more what we would consider wood grain because it looks like graining of wood. And just like black hard rubber, mottled hard rubber, which can be a generic term for anything that's red and black hard rubber, can discolor. You can see how the black portions in here have faded from what's on the barrel. So whether or not this cap actually originally came on this pen or not, it's correct. But the cap is obviously seen some UV. And that's why you don't know. You don't know if a hard rubber pen has been affected by UV until you try it. And that's the thing. There's no easy to tell sign. Usually everything, your sections are all pretty safe because they've been protected. They've been protected by the cap. So, those kinds of things you can soak, but if you try to if your hands are wet and you grab one of these things or you try, you throw the cap in the ultrasonic, you could be in for a world of problems. I'm actually a little surprised I had a ripple here. Really excited how well this Edison has turned out here. Blue Ripple is a pen you love to own? Yeah. Like the blue, it's like a blue and yellow. Japanese, some Japanese companies made green Ripple pens and things like that. They're not incredibly common. I mean, I've seen red, green, and black. Dr. Angelis, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Red, green, and black hard rubber on a Sailor from the 30s. It just blew my mind. I had a picture of it somewhere, and for the life of me, I can't find it. It was kind of a weird situation. I was considering buying it, but then the cap was wrong for the barrel, or there was something not right about it. And the gentleman I don't think he was entirely sure he wanted to sell it. Yeah, Olive Ripple, that's another one. Yep. And if he was going to sell it, it was going to be like some astronomical price. It was like $500 or something. I mean, it's worth that, but it was literally the wrong. I think it was a red, green, and black modeled barrel. And then it had like a black cap or something. I mean, it wasn't right. It wasn't right. What are your tips for taking care of modern ebonite pens? I just put my ebonite pen in my drawer after your comments on UV rays. Yeah, you want to keep them. You want to keep them out of sunlight. I mean, we used to have Sailor King of Pens in unlacquered ebonite in the store, and we would have them in the display. Now, they weren't sitting in the window, mind you, but just from being in the case and light coming in through the front windows, 15 feet away. You could tell after a while if you picked it up the bottom side of the pen was black and shiny, and the top was a little more matte. So what we ended up having to do is we stopped that nonsense quick, but we would have to polish them regularly. I use microgloss, usually microgloss 1 because it's the least abrasive. Sometimes 5. But we would polish them so that they would, you know, would remove that oxidation. Thankfully, a lot of modern ebonite pens have Urushi lacquer on them, so you don't have to worry about that. But there are also a lot of some lesser expensive ebonite pens with no coating on them. So yeah, you want to keep them out of light. You want to keep it like a mushroom. Keep it in the dark. Sounds like carbon fiber parts on cars. It needs so much upkeep to keep the shine. Yeah. You just don't want them. They need not see the sunlight except for when you're using them. Now, if you leave them on your desk for a day, you're not going to have to worry. But, you know, oftentimes you see things where, you know, a pen was clearly left on a desk for 50 years. You know, or you can clearly see where over time somebody held the pen. You know. Boy, I'm so excited about this. This is so good. This clip could use a little bit more shine, but normally I would let this this dry for a day, but a day I don't have, so store ebonite separate from celluloid. Is your understanding you have them separated in different drawers? I've heard all sorts of things. I think airflow is important. If you have celluloid, airflow is really, you got to let, you know, your pen's got to breathe. I don't think ebonite's the problem. I think celluloid's the problem. Ebonite is a very, very, otherwise very stable. Beautiful. Oh my God. I know some of you just, you can't understand my fascination with this. But watch yesterday's stream. You see how ugly this pen was. See if we can get almost get the clip to line up. Oh yeah, this always was my pen. I just got it Monday. Came Monday. I didn't actually think I was going to get around to working on it, but Monday's repair day was so traumatic that I decided I needed to work on something of my own, which is healthy to do, because you know when you repair pens for like this is another gentleman's set. When you repair pens for other people, it's a different mindset, and you have to do things differently. Um, but for me, repairing my own pens is really, I up until pretty much this year, last year, I never worked on my own pens. There was never time to do it. And it just wasn't going to happen. But it's very therapeutic. And I've done it a number of times. You know, you got a pen with the wrong nib, or, you know, it's been sitting in your drawer for a long time, and you want to get it fixed. All right, I think we did soak this in the Dr. G's, but let me see if it's really, really crusty. I'm going to try one more soak. Fixing something broken to a working state is so satisfying. Yeah, it is. You know, and unfortunately, most of the pens I fix, you know, they get sent off. I mean, they're out of here. We're going to drop that in there. That's the Dr. G's, not just deoxidizer. And this is the perfect case. It's not deoxidizing anything. It's taking the ink off of that, that collector. And I'm going to put the hood in there too. Let's see if we can get that cleaned out. This poor pen. You know what? And I'm going to throw that in there too, just for a little bit. You were told you should put a silicone moisture bag with your celluloid pens. Yeah, like those desiccants that you get with shoes and things like that. Another reason I don't like to collect celluloid pens is because, you know, pretty much they're all going to go bad at some point. You dropped a 146 and it broke right at the ink window. Can you fix it? That's not really my type of repair. What I do recommend is, if I don't know if you can get to a pen show. I don't even know if you're in the U.S. But the guy you want to talk to is Osman Sumer. He is the Mont Blanc expert. He has fixed more Mont Blancs for me at his table while chatting, and he just sits here and and then he fixed the pen, and that's that. You're going to DC in August. Osman will be there. If you don't know who he is, it's kind of hard to describe who he is, but he's from Germany. I think that's where he's from, Germany. I know he's been inside the Mont Blanc vault. He knows more about Mont Blanc than Mont Blanc does. Although that's not too much of a shock, because I don't think they really care. But yeah, ask any of the vendors and they'll point him out. Kind of short, mostly bald. But he's really the guy. He's also on Facebook too. You can find him on Facebook. Osman Sumer, Sumer. Great guy, really great guy. He usually has like Swiss chocolates on his table, and then a tray of ridiculously valuable Mont Blanc pens, and he just sits there and he takes, you know, like, he'll have like giant Mont Blanc safeties, and he's just taking them apart at the table, and it'd be like, that's my car right there that you're taking apart while you're having a conversation about last night's dinner, you know. For chocolates, you hunt him down. Yeah. He's a great guy. He's a wonderful, kind man. He's been very good to Lisa and I. We've known him a very long time. You couldn't, what he would probably do is he would probably just, I had a 146 that I took to him that had a problem, and I saw him in Chicago last year, and he just reached in his bag and he goes, gave me a new barrel, sent me on my way. Yeah, you do not want to ask Osmond how much the pens are. It's kind of like that old, I don't know, some of you remember back in the 70s and 80s, Billy Beer, which had the motto, if you have to ask how much it is, you can't afford it. And that totally applies to Osmond's pens. And not in a snobby way either, because he's like I say, he's really one of the most wonderful men you'd ever want to come across. He'd give you the shirt off your back. He really would. But yeah, if you have to ask how much his pens are, you can't afford them. I mean, I know I have a rough idea what some of them go for, and no way. There's no way. And like I say, he'll just grab them, he'll start disassembling them, and and rip them apart and all that jazz. He probably could fix the barrel, but he would probably just say, well, I've got a spare barrel here. Do you want it? And go with that. Blog to your father-in-law? Yeah, it's worth fixing. Yeah, then maybe you want to get it fixed as opposed to just replaced. But Osmond can certainly guide you in the right direction. And he's a good guy to know, because you never know when you're going to need a Mont Blanc part or Mont Blanc fixed or whatever. He comes over for many of the big shows. I don't know if he's going to be in. I don't know if he's going to be in Baltimore this weekend. But he goes to Chicago, and he'll be in DC, and great info. It'll be your first bench show, and you're going to DC. Holy smokes. It's a big show. Just prepare yourself for it. It's a lot of people. It can get packed and crowded. I haven't been to the DC show in quite a while. I've been trying to get there the last couple of years. It just doesn't seem to work out for me. I don't think it's going to work out for me this year, but I don't know that for certain yet. Oh, Osmond is going to be at Baltimore. All right. It is kind of a game, though. You got to walk by Osmond's table and you say, okay, what outrageous Mont Blanc does he have on his table this time? I think the one time I walked by and he had like a modeled hard rubber, like number 10 size Mont Blanc safety or something crazy like that. I mean, it's certainly awesome to gawk, because you won't see that anywhere else, at least in the United States, anybody else's table. And that's really classic Mont Blanc. That's not this writer's edition junk that they got coming out. And I just, it's like, if you're going to collect Mont Blanc, that's the Mont Blanc you should collect. Your sister lives there, so you get to see her too. Well, that's a bonus, yeah. You have been warned about the crowds. Yeah, and I don't want to freak anybody out, but I do understand that. Believe it or not, I'm very highly antisocial. I'm an introvert. I don't like crowds. In fact, a good friend of mine and I were talking about having dinner in Baltimore, and he's like, well, we can invite a bunch of people, or we could just go the two of us, and I'm like, hey, that sounds really great, because I don't really want any more people to talk to than I have to. I can handle it for a couple of days, but there are times when it does get, if you're that type of person and you don't like crowds, my advice is to, you're more of an introvert than me. Oh, yeah, are you sure? My best advice, and this, you see this, like, especially in like Columbus where I go, and if you see me sitting by myself in the lobby, that's because I'm just like peopled out. I'd take a break. That's enough for me. You could never do a stream. Well, I did it to keep myself honest. I said I was going to repair pens. And if I didn't have this stream, I wouldn't have any pens restored, or very few. And sometimes you just, you act like you're just talking to yourself. That's kind of what it is. Okay. Yeah, but if you did a stream, Vlad, I bet it would be really interesting. I got to find my what was it? My CIA pen that you gave me. I'll bring that. You're going to have the inkwell fixed tomorrow. The spring is on its way to you. Good. Boy, is this thing so dirty. The cleaner you can get these things, the better your life is going to be. I don't think this collector is going to get any cleaner. Sometimes you can drop them in the Dr. G's and they really shine up. It makes no difference whether or not this is perfectly clean or whether this is kind of black, and this is from doing that Edison and that Waterman. But sometimes they will clean right up and they'll be perfectly clear. So I don't know what ink was used in here, but I'm actually going to ultrasonic this. That's very inky. Well, I mean, those collectors are supposed to be clear. They are supposed to be clear. And I got to step aside for a minute. I need to get a diaphragm for this. Give me just a minute. I'll be right back. You got some pens you need to clean out today? I wonder if at one point they didn't use India ink or something in here. You promised yourself you wouldn't ink anymore until you cleaned some out. Well, that's a good promise. I should do the same. I'm very terrible about it, though. I don't. I mean, you'd think I would be like one of the best people in the world to keep my pens clean, and the problem is I usually rotate between so many pens that it's hard to keep track of what's inked and what's not. You really want to break it though? You have new pens to try. It's an oh, you want to break the okay? You want to break the promise? I was gonna say you don't want to break the pen. You never know what you want to. Yeah. Well, my only challenge I think for today is what pen's going to be in my pocket for the show. Um, you have 43 currently inked. Um, I think I have a good idea which one I want to keep in my pocket, but Flying Blue TARDIS, you got 15 pens inked, but to be fair, 2 are new and I wanted to test them out. Well, that's fine. That's fine. Making it an even 44. Well, you know, at 44, you're almost to 100. Or almost to 50. Well, you're almost to 100. That's Brian math for you. 44, 100. All right. No wonder you're a music major. Was. Well, I think this, I basically what I put this in was I put this in some pen flush after the Dr. G's, and it really kind of cleaned it up even a little bit better. I don't think we're going to get it perfectly clean. Some of it's coming out, though. This is a handy little tool, but unfortunately, it's, you know, it gets dirty and then you toss it away. It's only got a small head on it. That's more respectable. Some are on their last drops of ink, so they for sure need cleaned. Though I did re-ink one just because it's the only one with permanent ink in it. Yeah, I mean, if you need permanent ink, it's good to have just one pen that's you use it in. Okay. So this is going to be the moment of truth here. after we cut this diaphragm, we're going to try the new filling unit. Which I'm bringing to Baltimore for a few repairmen to take a look at. Because if this is if I get good reviews, then this is going to be in production and we'll have it in about a month. I didn't get as many samples as I wanted to get. So I've only got 3 to give away. It's getting hung up on some gunk that's in here, and I just don't want to force it. You've been trying to do a no-spend month on pens and ink for almost a year now, and you keep failing? Sometimes I'll just put some silicone on here. You don't really want to do this, but I do it for the purpose of getting it in. Normally it doesn't take this long. Normally you'd be in, we're good to go. All right, so this part we haven't tested yet. And for those that are just tuning in for the first time, these are brand new vacuumatic filling units that I've had made. So I've been testing the fit and finish before I go and have several hundred made. All right, here's a moment of truth. We'll see how well this works. Oh, it went in nice. And those are not hard rubber pellet cups. So you don't have to worry about them breaking. And it seems nice and tight in there. It's down. That looks good. Well, I'm feeling good about this so far. Right on there. It looks good. I really like that. I really like this yellow. Shaft on it. Okay. Let's test this. This is exciting. And if you all don't know how exciting this is, you have not repaired pens long enough. This has been a problem in the industry for a long time. It's been a problem for me for 20 years. Oh, look at that. Always remember to keep the plunger down when you pull the VAC 51 out of ink. And I'm saying that as much for your benefit as it is for me to continue to remember to do that, because I didn't always used to do that. Boy, I tell you, it really sucked up the ink something fierce. I like my initial reaction on the pellet cup is it is secure. It was easy to get the pellet in, and the pen writes. I don't know what else to I don't know what else to do. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. I should just stop right where I'm at. The Edison's fixed. The Waterman 452 came out real nice. And the filling unit went in. The pellet cup went in. It was really powerful on the strokes because it wasn't, sometimes if the pellet cup is a little bit too loose, there's, it doesn't really grip as well when the diaphragm's moving. Watch the orders for this part come flooding in on people Something about the availability? Oh, once they know about the availability. Yeah. I tell you what, I'm really going to push. I've got 3 spare samples. I've got 1 extra for myself, and I've got 3 spare samples that I'm handing out to 3 repairmen in Baltimore. I'm hoping that they can try them out then and there, or at least during the show, to give me some feedback. And if feedback is good, I'm ordering these things on Sunday on the plane home. It's a pretty huge investment. My minimum order is it's off the charts, but we will be doing bulk orders. Probably 50 and 100 units. If you want 100 units, we can do 100 units. It'd be a better price, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Boy, that's a nice writing pen, though. All that other stuff aside. A couple dings in the cap, but that's how a 51 should write. That's nice. All right, let's clean it up. Have I come up with the ballpark price? I have. Sort of. But I'm going to wait to announce that until after I've had some input from a couple people in Baltimore. I guarantee it's going to be you would leave it inked overnight to see if any leaks develop. Well, the problem is I'm not going to be here in the morning. I mean, it's tight. I know it's tight. There's no. It was tight going in. Not tight, but it was the right. And I could get suction. If there were leaks, I wouldn't have got suction. That should be the pen I put in my pocket going to the show. I would, but it's not my pen. Customer's pen, and it's a family pen. It sure feels nice. When I get back, I can do that, but I can leave a pen ink. But um, if there was any leak at all, it wouldn't fill. That much is all right. Salad spinner 2.0. All right. Well, it's a pity this barrel broke, but hopefully I can find one in Baltimore. So yeah, when I do that. Seal the hood up, and I think we're going to be good to go. Always use your loop to line up the hood. And leave yourself a little wiggle room when you've positioned your nib unit so that it's not completely super tight. I mean, you want it to be tight, but you don't want it to be cranking it down all the way. The shellac will take care of that. Just makes it easier for those minute adjustments. All right, let's see. Those are done. I need a barrel for that pen, which I don't have. Let's see. That we'll figure out later. I guess we can go back to these. The less happy part of the show. I'm going to put this Edison in my pocket here so I don't forget it. Oh. So this guy, after testing and after going together nicely, decided it was going to come apart. So now I've got sealant on my end of my section. That's the easy way to line that up. Put it in and then shove it through the front. And then you can take your tool, line it up. And as long as you push straight, it should be in a good position. So it came out last time. Maybe what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull it out a little bit further, apply the shellac to the outside of the tube so that when I push it in, it fills in the hole. And then when we get back to it next week on Monday, hopefully it has sealed inside the hole. At least that's the instead of just outside. So now you can see it about halfway up. And I actually probably could do a little bit more. And a little bit on the tool. But we'll wipe that off. If you don't have this tool and you do snorkels, you need to buy this tool. It is the best. It'll change your life. Sounds like a dramatic tale, but it eliminates a whole lot of guesswork. Okay. And if you've got a tube that's not particularly tight, hold on to the tube as you probably shouldn't even. I'm just going to leave it like that. If it's not perfectly aligned, which I think it is, then we'll have to deal with it Monday. So we got that. This dual fold is a royal pain in my you-know-what. And it's not like I haven't done a few hundred button fillers. But this metal band in here is kind of chewed up, and I wonder if that's not half the problem. So I can see, you can't see it. There's no way you can see it. The end of it is rough, and it's popped up. So I think I'm going to take this with me. And consult with some of my colleagues and see what they think. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you can't figure something out, and this should be on the simple end of the scale, it really should be. But it's not working for me. And I've done that before. I take it to somebody else, and somebody else has got fresh eyes, and they look at it and they go, "Oh, well, yeah, this is the situation." And then you learn from it. So I can either continue to sit here and struggle, or I can go take it and give it to any of a number of colleagues in Baltimore, and we'll see what they have to say. All right. Next up, let's get back to this tray, huh? We kind of started this. All right, Gary. Have a good workout. We started this tray. We didn't really get very far. This one we actually had, I had some naphtha dripping in it. So let's see. I had to move it out of the way the other day, so it hasn't been soaking for a while, but It would be a shame if this thing did not open. It'd be awesome if it did open. I'm not, I mean, look at it. I mean, you can see the transparency. I mean, you can see the cap underneath. We'll use a little heat, but I'm going to crank this down. I just pulled it off. And this is just tightening on this outer thread, which is what the blind cap goes on. We'll try a little heat. Or maybe a lot of heat. I don't know. Problem is, I've already started to press hard in my hand, so it does not want to move. It's always the really clear black ones that this gives me a problem with. Always. It doesn't want to come out. So I will come back to that another day. All right. Actually, I should have leave that up. This barrel here looks really, really nasty in here. Just checking the barrels. Or I get down to the, well, this one is done actually. Yeah, so this is how, I forgot about this. This one's sitting in the tray. This is how clear shellac dries. It just dries nice and clear. This is a fantastic pen. Really, really cool pen. I've been putting this one off for a while. I don't know why. Nice cap. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Lockdown, speed line, and 2 regular. This one doesn't have enough to grab onto, so I'm just going to kind of pull the excess stuff off. This one here does, so we can heat this up and we can see if we can just pull this out complete. It'll make your life a whole lot easier. So when you get one like that, don't automatically just rip it off. We'll try that one first. And there we go. The whole thing came out, pellet cup and all. I'm going to do this one since I got the heat gun on already. Just going to heat this up. It'll be a little more forgiving. Yep, and this one just cracked. Yeah. That one's toast. It's just too brittle. Really with nothing to prevent that. And I'm not surprised based on the condition of the inside of the barrel. So are you going to sell the units you replaced? Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna provided they pass further testing this weekend. The new filling units, I will order them. I should have them in about 4 weeks' time. Probably more like 6, but I'm gonna buy like 500 units of them. So if I don't spend all my money in Baltimore, it's going straight towards the VAC filling unit fund. Okay. Well, 3 out of 4 is not bad. I guess if I don't have another Blue 51 vac, it's not the worst thing in the world, right? Clean those off. The price on those filling units is going to be affordable. I mean, the only most of the ones on the market now that are aftermarket are made out of aluminum. They cost like $75 a piece. It is not what I consider to be affordable if you're trying to restore a pen at an economical price. If I had to buy $75 filling units to fix a client's pen, his repair is going to be $120. And that's, or, if I had to pay, even considering my cost on this is free because this is my pen, if I got to put $75 into this on top of what I paid for the pen, there's not much room for any money whatsoever there. So the goal is to make them affordable. Clean the threads here. What do we got? Almost 4 o'clock. And if we can eliminate the barrier to entry being, well, I mean, first of all, barrier to entry in vacuumatic repairs, you need a wrench. And wrenches are expensive. There are cheap ones and then there are good ones. And like I was once asked, how many do you plan to do? You plan to do one, just get the cheap wrench. It'll work okay. You're going to do more than 2? Get the good one. It's sort of like when you're working on your house. If you need a tool, you go to Harbor Freight. If you're going to, Actually, I have a handyman that says, well, he goes to Harbor Freight. The tools are actually so good that even if he has to replace them, he's not out a lot of money. He's still better off buying 2 of the same tool before he spends a lot of money on a name brand. Now, that doesn't really apply in the pen world, I guess. But there are a lot of different kinds of vac wrenches, and there's been a lot made over the years. Most of them work. Some work better than others. So you could find essentially a vintage vac tool. And by vintage, it could be, I mean, if you need a precision tool like a torque wrench, you never go to Harbor Freight. Yeah. But if you need I don't know, a drill or, like the other day, I needed a Sawzall. I knew I was going to use it once this year. I might need it next year. I for sure will need it the year after that. I mean, I'm going to use it once a year, every maybe 18 months. I don't need the best tool. I don't need the best tool out there. In fact, I didn't even want, I could have got a cheaper one. I could have got a battery operated one. Am I chopping up battery parts? Yes. Chopping up my competitors. No. We're using it. We're using it at the shop here. We buy packing paper in bulk. And we get it from the Habitat for Humanity Restore, and it comes in 3-foot rolls. And it works great for wrapping problem customers. Yeah. It works great for wrapping the paper products. So if somebody buys 2 or 3 notebooks, I wrap them in this craft paper to keep them all nice and packaged. Not the type of bodies you're thinking of. Oh, what am I cleaning this for? This is the broken one. Well, it'll be the cleanest broken vac filling unit in the parts bin. But I've got 3-foot rolls, and my dispenser is 2 feet long. So I have to cut them to fit the dispenser. And the last time I tried it, we used a circular saw, and it didn't really work very well. So at least I had the brilliant idea to go get a Sawzall. And it really made short work of it. I mean, so we spent probably $80. But we'll be able to use it down the road for trees or something. Someday when we get a house again. It worked great. I mean, it took longer to set it up than it did to cut through. I mean, and they're big rolls. They're maybe that big around. I mean, they're heavy. That nib is dirty. I hate to knock these out, but I have a hilarious picture of Lisa holding the Sawzall. I wasn't sure it was a good idea to put it on Facebook or Instagram. Could also be used for problem pens like that Vacuumatic. I can't get open. Could always go to a print shop and have them cut it with their industrial paper cutter, I guess. We're gonna buy a house in a different house in a couple of years, so. Lots of trees are sort of a requirement. You like the look of vacuumatics, but auctions get out of hand sometimes? Yeah, especially when it's something other than like anything other than a major or a deb, right? Or a junior. Standards, maximas, oversize. And then trying to figure out all the minutia of what size is what. It just, I have a real hard time figuring that stuff out. I want to knock this out. I don't like knocking out vac nib units because I just don't. But this one is just too dirty to be acceptable. The plastic shrinks, makes them hard to get back in. Mark my words, I'm going to regret this. You were bummed the snorkel set you won was sent with the wrong pen? You got a pencil and the wrong pen? Yeah, this looks nasty. This has to be gonna be cleaned up. Same color trim. Listing showed a gold snorkel tube in a correct section for early snorkel. You pull the old switcheroo, you just get it mixed up. Watch, he uses the same close-up shot of the feed in the nib for every single one of his listings. You got it mixed up. Well, hopefully it makes it right. Wow, two-tone Canadian nib. Super cool. You sold the pen you ended up getting a month prior? Oops. Does that mean they got your pen or they got something else? Boy, that's a cluster, isn't it? There's no getting the pen back from the other buyer. Yeah. See, Esterbrook's are so much easier. 6 colors, 3 sizes. Oh, I'm going to just drop that section in the ultrasonic for a second. And the feed, too. Sure. You stick around here long enough and you'll regret starting collecting those. Because every week I'll tell you about some new pen you don't know that exists. What was it this week? The hard rubber desk pen? Did we get those 2 bandless Model Bs over the weekend? Great. Very good. They're fun. They're just a really fun little, and it's not, I think sometimes, and I think this is the case with social media in general, right? Social media presents the best of everything, and then you got to try. You feel like you have to try to compete, particularly on some of these fountain pen forums. And people are showing off their collections, and it's like, sometimes it's a little braggy, but if you like something and you want to collect it, that's great. But it's like sometimes it's just insurmountable to try to get a complete set of something. And bandless pens, not insurmountable. I mean, it's a healthy challenge. If we don't count dipless pens, which there are quite a few variations of, sadly, probably not that many. I'd have to dig back into my research, but the H are the hardest. Yeah, the H are the hardest. For sure. But there's only 6, right? So, and it's not like you're trying to get all 18 variations of Visimasters. I mean, that's a ridiculous amount of money. That's the Visimasters are where I kind of stopped when I kind of stopped collecting Esterbrook's in a completist fashion. Because they're just, it just seems, it seems ridiculous to spend $200, $300 a piece on trying to get every variation, every little minute variation of Visimaster. I looked at it and I said, I can't do this. This is not sustainable. I mean, 18 pens at $250 each, $200, $300 each is a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, at the one time I got all 6 colors, and all 3 main variants. I think there's actually memory serves, there's a fourth variant too. So I covered all the bases, basically. So I'm good with that. You can't put this cap in the ultrasonic because it's got a blue diamond. So I just held it underwater. Rinsed it out a couple times. Yeah, complete set of double jewel pens. I mean, really, it could be 36 pens plus the very early 1947 variant, which may or may not have been made in all three sizes. That would be a tough one. You got 6 full-size J's, the icicle pens, and a couple transitionals. Yeah. And transitionals another one, right? Because there are, what are there, 4, maybe 4 different variations. Three main variations. I guess, we could speculate whether or not, without actually seeing new old stock pens, whether or not there are actually 4, but there are clearly three variations. Did 3 rib jewels come with a regular Esterbrook imprint? That's the one you got to say, well, did somebody just throw a cap on there? Someone just had a barrel and they found a cap for it, and that was that, You're going for the earlier logo on the transitionals? Yeah, okay, so do all our Esterbrook and Company imprinted pens. Even that's a fun challenge. Just getting regular H's are tough. And the pen we don't speak of? Which one is that? Nurse pen with no indicators on the caps? Clean nurse pens? Boy, there is a ton of ink in this cap. The black one you found. Oh, yeah. I can tell you there are 6 variations of that pen. That's it. 6 colors. Get them all. But good luck, because it might take you 30 years to do it. It's like collecting twist fillers. Got all 6 in the day after I got the 6th one. The first one I got broke. Knob fell right off of it. And finding twist fillers is just not, it's not fun. It's really not fun. You just have to be really, very lucky. Number one, most people don't even know Esterbrook made a twist filler, a piston filling pen. Most people couldn't identify it. And if somebody who didn't know anything about it actually did luckily stumble upon it, they most likely would break it at the first instance by trying to operate the piston. which sadly doesn't affect the value at all. Because there are no other ones out there. It makes you wonder how many they actually did sell. I mean, you know, they had to have, we had to have made thousands of them. Hundreds at bare minimum. They're not prototypes. I've had 3 blues. 3 blues, 2 greens. There was a listing that was initially advertised as the Esterbrook twist filler, but it was a button filler with an Esterbrook nib shoved into it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Wort-made Esterbrook eyedroppers are more common and easier to find than twist fillers. Wanted some crazy price for it until someone probably told them. Or maybe not. I've told the story before about the guy who was trying to sell an Esterbrook eyedropper, and if anybody knows, Esterbrook eyedroppers are rare as hen's teeth. They're really not common. And he decided that his Esterbrook dipless pen could be used as an eyedropper, so he called it an eyedropper. And I told him, I said, this is not considered an eyedropper. Oh, well, I could unscrew the nib and fill it. Well, yeah, I guess if you wanted to make a mess, you could, yeah. He just left the listing up there. Problem is I mean, those pens, when they show up, there's a very small market for them, but they consistently sell, and they have sold for 25 years, 30 years in the $300 to $400 price point. And nobody can fix them. I did get a chuckle once. Richard Binder once emailed me and asked me if I just had a spare one lying around that he could play around with and break. I laughed. Like, sorry, Richard. Spare and twist filler don't usually go in the same sentence. I do actually have one in the parts bin, though. I probably showed it off. It's pretty horrendous. It is absolutely the definition of parts. I don't know that there's any good parts on it. Have I shown it? I've probably shown that to you. Every time I take it out of the bin, it disintegrates even further. Actually, let me go see if I can find it. Ironically, it's in my parts bin called Better. So the Better Esterbrook's are in this tray. I don't have a cap for it. I don't have the piston knob for it. And obviously, since it's parts, I don't have the I don't have a nib in it. But there it is. That is an Esterbrook twist filler. Heavily crystallized barrel. You can see the green there. If If I shake it, that is remnants of the piston. Which goes in there. I couldn't tell you if this is a different section or not because I really don't want to take it out. Yeah, it's crumbly. It's ugly. You can see the R. Estabrook and Company imprint. It's amazing it has survived. But that's where the piston knob would be. And you can kind of see the remnants of whatever's left in there. Because the piston shaft is plastic. And this part was black, so this is correct, but there's a big crack there. For some, that's I thought about selling it because I thought, you know what, for some people, this might be as close as they're ever going to get to a twist filler. But I would feel guilty selling it because what do you sell something like that for? I mean, it's not a good pen. It's not usable. All right. I don't have diaphragms. I have to get those. I kind of, let's see. I need a writing instrument. Let's see. Does this work? It doesn't work. No refill on that one. I think this one dried up. One of these got to work. I'm going to write my mental list. I got an OMAS I got to take. I probably should take, I've got a white Estabrook I need to take with me. Anybody going to the show that needs something from me, speak now or forever hold your peace. Got the 2 pens in my pocket. I got a desk pen. I gotta find a section for. But I have an Estabrook doctor's pen with a black jewel on the cap and a red jewel on the barrel. So it's a mismatch. And for years, I would go up to Francis Pavilian's table and we would talk. And he had the same thing. He had the black indicators on the cap and the red indicators on the barrel. We were really hoping that we had the reverse so we could like swap caps and we would each have a complete pen, but it never happened. Trying to think what else. Oh, I guess I could, while I'm thinking of that, I can take this parts out of the ultrasonic and I'll put this section back, this section back together. I don't want to leave this sitting too long. Oof. Still some ink coming out of there. It's all gone now. Oh, good. It went in. All right. A little bit of heat. We'll push it in further. And then I promise when we get back, we will finish up these pens. A little bit more. Because I have some desk pens that I need to clean up. Because I was able to find and match up some bases. One fun junk pen you got at the show ended up being a super chintzy. I love that word, chintzy. Soviet Vacuumatic Parker 51 clone. I can't get it fully apart, but it fills. I wonder if it's the same brand as my... There we go. That's better. As my Soviet 51 desk pens. Soyuz, yeah, could be. I have to go look. I've got them at home. It probably annoys Lisa, but believe it or not, I have them in a coffee cup on the TV stand in the bedroom. All right, so I'm going to put this problem child over here. And actually, I think I have 2 or 3 of them. I want to say I used to have the base for them, and for whatever reason, the base got lost. Which doesn't mean I don't have it. It just means that they got separated in some move somewhere. Because I think I got the pens in DC one year when I bought a bunch of desk sets. So they made it to my first store, and then were hidden in a drawer in a case for years until we rediscovered them, and then moved to our second store, our second location. Fun stuff. They write quite nicely actually, but yeah, I think they're got a little push-pull mechanism, piston kind of thing going on. But no, I don't think they have an aerometric. They don't have a sack. So they're quite durable. I should see if they fit in a magnetics. I imagine yours is black. Like all good Soviet pens should be. They're black. It's a bellows of some sort. You think? If I was doing this at home, I literally used to have them on my bench, within arm's reach at all times. I don't know why. I decided against selling them because I thought they were just too cool. Although, you know who's into Russian pens that I should take one with me is Richard Binder. He's into Soviet era pens, apparently. So, anyway, I think I'm going to end it here. I've got a few more things I got to tidy up before I leave. Oh, it's bright blue. Nice. I got a couple of last minute things. There's my list. I got an Omos and the White Esterbrook that I got to pull back out of the bin. And just double check there's nothing else, because once I leave here, I'm done. We're going to go home. We're going to eat. I'm going to try to get some exercise in, because since I'm not getting any Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. And then get to bed, because 3 a.m. comes early. So if you see me tomorrow, be quiet. Or hand me desk sets or something to get me perked up. But I look out for the. Oh yeah, I see now. It's super cool now. See, since I made my list, and I have my list on my phone. So and I have a general idea of certain things, and certain sets at a certain price that I don't have, I will just buy. You know, I mean, like if they're $20-$25, I'll buy them. If they're over that, I'm not. Just run around the hotel a few times a day. Yeah. I'm not gonna pay a lot of money for 444 chains, 445 chained dipless set. I'm just not gonna do it. You know, there was a real common. There's one I don't have that's on eBay, and I can't believe I don't have it. But they want $68 for it, and I'm just not gonna pay it. Not gonna do it. Like 20, you should be able to get most common desk sets for 25, 35 at the most. I mean, the rare ones, yeah, that's a different story. The deluxe bases, I don't know what I'm going to do if I see them. I'm just going to do what I got to do and beg for forgiveness later. Yeah, I was thinking about asking if they had Zwift capable bikes, but I figured I might just make somebody pass out if I ask that question. And I also don't want to bring my cycling shoes. I'm packing as light as possible. And I don't even want to bring tennis shoes. I don't normally wear tennis shoes, so I don't want to bring 2 pairs of shoes. I call it a recovery week. I rode Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, a little bit last night, not much. I'll ride tonight, and then I'll ride a long ride on Sunday, so it'll be just fine. I'm not too worried about it. I make it up at the end of the year. So anyway, that's it for now. No stream tomorrow. I'm going to try to remember to take it off of the Twitch schedule, but if I don't, obviously I'm not going to be doing it. Friday, we'll still have a podcast. 1:30 p.m. Central. If you see me at the show, I guess it'll be 2:30 Eastern. I'm going to try to make watch the show live, because my daughter and Lisa will be doing it. Have fun at the show. Thank you. So I'm gonna look forward to that. Lindsay doesn't do the show very much, so there are gonna be some fun things going on, lots to talk about. And I'll be back, and you'll see me here again on Monday at the normal time. So, say hi to us on the Ink Dependence live stream from the show. I guess that's Friday. What time is it? I can never remember when that is. I got to go back and watch the one where he's talking about beer. Is it like 5 o'clock or something? I'll look it up. So anyway, have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, and please do don't miss the podcast on Friday. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be in the chat, and Hans, who I'm sure is getting ready for the show, didn't chime in today, but I'm sure he's very busy. I think we're going to both try to duke it out at the in the bar or something while the podcast is going on in the chat with you guys. It would be kind of fun. So have a good rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, be well. We'll see you in Baltimore, or we'll see you back here on Monday. All right. Take care, everyone. See you next time.